What social media, movies, or books and TV shows did you read or watch from like 7th to 12th grade? Like when you were my age?
Oh, when I was your age?
Yeah.
It was all either newspapers or TV.
But what did you watch on the TV?
On TV, probably the news.
You watched the news? You didn't watch TV shows? Cartoons?
Well, when I was your age, when I was in high school, we only had cable was just starting.
You didn't watch cartoons?
Not when I was in high school.
What? You didn't?
Maybe in junior high or grade school, but not in high school.
Oh, okay. So you just watched the news?
Or are you asking about what social media?
Did you have any social media?
There wasn't really any social media. Social media back then was
the news.
The news or newspapers or magazines. Actually, Sports Illustrated was one of my favorite magazines.
Okay.
Magazines that's how you got your news. Like social news was newspapers.
What was on like the newspapers? Like what were the issues?
Well, just the local news. And the newspaper was local news. You had to watch TV to get the national news or worldwide news. For the most part. I mean, sometimes you had national and worldwide news in the newspaper too, I guess.
Right. How are issues like race and things like that, like when you were, like different than how it is now?
Race?
Yeah.
Well, it was definitely different.
How was it different?
Well, when I grew up, there wasn't many minorities where I grew up, a small town. There was Hispanics, and that was about it. Was
there any, like...
I never went to high school or grade school with any African Americans, no.
But was it, like, were people treated differently, like Hispanics or whatever?
No.
Oh, okay.
Nope.
Okay,
I actually had some good friends that were Hispanic, Mexican.
But not that you know if there was any, like, issues?
No, I don't recall any issues.
Okay. How have, like, watching the news and, like, the way that you grew up watching and stuff, how's that affected you now?
Well, it's completely different now.
I know, but how has it affected how you are now? Like, do you still watch it? Read the newspaper? Do you still, like...
Not as much as I did. Just because that's not how you get the news these days. You get the news online or watching TV.
Mm-hmm.
Not the newspaper. Newspapers are a thing of the past.
Right. What's the same and what's different now? Do you think is like, what do you think the biggest change is?
The biggest change is how you get your news. And then whether you can believe the news. I think the news today is not as believable as it was back then. Depending on what you're listening to or watching.
Do you think there's a big difference between how I grew up and how you grew up?
Huge difference. Yes.
Explain, please.
Main thing is social media and how you get your news is completely different than how I got my news. You get it at the tip of your phone 24/7 from every direction, especially with the social media and peers.
Do you think problems with like race and things like that are different now? Do you think it's worse? Do you think it's better?
I think the nation as a whole is better.
Mm-hmm.
Completely better. I can't say exactly to that extent, but I would say it's better.
All right.
You don't see as much violent. You don't see as much violence as what I remember seeing.
What do you remember seeing?
A lot of violence. A lot of. I mean, there still is on occasion, but there was a lot of violence when I grew up. Not that I grew up with it, but on the news. Yeah.
All right. Thank you.